the first meeting for us after midterm, right? So yeah, for the IUP class, before you have with Dr. Novera, now starting from today, starting from this week, you will be with me. For another class from Magister Ilmu Komputer, so this will be the 8th week for us. Okay. We will not discuss about the midterm exam, yeah, because in the IUP class, your midterm is not with me, but with another lecturer, with Dr. Novella. So we will just continue to do our topics. Okay, all right. Don't forget for today topics. For today, we also will have the self-evaluation. I will set first the self-evaluation for you. Dua yang mau 6. Okay, I will check that. The 6th April. Okay, for the IUP class, I ask to you whether Bu Novela or give you for the individual already discussed. Yeah, we already discussed about the data text, yeah, and also the data audio. So the same thing with the IUP class, you already learn about the data text and also the audio data with the Bu Novela. So okay, I will just briefly review about the goal, yeah, the goal of the pattern recognition. So maybe this is just review, right? The goal of the pattern recognition, we call this one as the PP. Actually, we want to do the feature extraction. Feature extraction. Sometimes we call this one as the feature engineering in order to extract the feature that's suitable for certain data. So based on the data, dari berdasarkan data, we will have 3 kind of the data. We will have the data text. Right? We already discussed this one before midterm, so I hope so you also already discussed with the Bu Novela before midterm. And then we have the data audio, yeah, data audio, data text. We starting from the pre-processing, and then we have the feature extraction, and then we have the case study. And then for the data audio, we also the same thing. We will have the preparation, maybe pre-processing and the feature extraction. And then the last one, we have the case study. So for the last data will be image. Image or sometimes it can be also video. We will start to discuss with the pre-processing. Yeah, pre-processing, and then the next one we will discuss about the how to extract the feature from the data image, from the image data. So this one will be the feature extraction. And then the last one will be the case study. And don't forget, for the IUP class, in the end of this semester, in the 14 weeks, in the weeks number 14, you need to present the case study, not case study, you need to present the final project. So have Bu Novera divide you into group? Sudah dibagi grup belum untuk yang kelas IUP?
We have, sir.
You
And we lost
have.
left from the proposal.
And then how about the topic for the final project? You have already?
Yes, so back then we were divided on 8 topics, I believe. There was image, signal, or audio.
Mm.
And lastly, I only have to go on with
Okay.
please, yeah.
Okay.
I believe it's the decision.
How many group that you have in the IUP? How many groups?
Sir.
Oh, you have 3 groups.
3 groups for each data topics.
Oh, okay. So the total is will be 9 then.
6 groups, sir.
Oh, 6 group.
Only six
Oh, okay,
groups, sir.
okay. So I mean 2 groups in each data. So the total will be okay. You already present the proposal before midterm, so the report will be presenting in the end of this semester. Okay, all right. So now we will move to the data image. Yeah, image data. Yeah, this is one of the data that always we use in order to do the analysis using AI or maybe using machine learning and so on. So image data. Yeah, this is briefly review actually. If you have already taken the class of the digital image processing, and also if you are already take the computer vision, so this is the same thing. You just briefly. But different thing is this is we just focus in the pattern recognition. How we can extract the feature from image data. Jadi bagaimana kita bisa mendapatkan feature dari data image ya. And then after we extract the data, suitable feature, appropriate feature, because sometimes if we want to do some things, we have different tasks, we will use the different features. Karena in the feature extraction, not only in the image processing, in feature extraction, biasanya satu fitur spesifik untuk satu tugas. One feature is specific use for one certain task. So we cannot use one feature for general task because it will be depend on the problem. For example, if we want to classify the fruit, kita ingin memperkenalkan atau melakukan klasifikasi buah-buahan, probably the feature that can be used is the color. Jadi kira-kira mungkin yang bisa digunakan adalah color gitu. Tapi mungkin sebelum ke arah sana ya, before we discuss about the feature, we need to think first about what is the image. So the same thing with the data text and also data audio, we will start with the pre-processing. Yeah, this is pre-processing. And then the next one, maybe it will be the next week, it will be about the feature extraction. Yeah. And then the next one, it will be the application. We will start with the case study. So you will presenting about what kind of the case study for the data image in the pattern recognition. Okay, so for today, because we will have 3 steps, pre-processing and also the feature extraction, and the last one will be the application or maybe the case study. For today, we only focus for the preparation, the pre-processing. So we will discuss first about what is the image acquisition. Yeah, this is the image acquisition. And then we will have the image pre-processing. Yeah, it can be image enhancement. It can be image augmentation. Yeah. And this is 3 things that we start with the image acquisition. Kita akan diskusi di awal dengan akuisisi citra. Dan kemudian kita akan berbicara masalah enhancement, meningkatkan kualitas citra. And then we also will discuss about the augmentation. The augmentation means we try to improve the quantity of the image. So in the image enhancement, it will be belong to the quality improvement. For the image augmentation, it will be quantity improvement. So after we have this kind of the process, so I hope that in the final project, because our focus in the feature extraction, you don't need to use the deep learning. It is mandatory for you to use the machine learning. Yeah, because if you use deep learning, the process of the feature extraction will be skipped, because the feature extraction can be done by deep learning automatically. But if we focus using machine learning, so you can about the feature extraction. So that's why when you make a report for the final project, please try to explore the feature extraction part, not the machine learning part, because this is not machine learning classes. This is not machine learning class, but this is the picture pattern recognition class. So we will start with the image acquisition. Before that, the image actually the collection of the pixel, right? The collection of the pixel. Yeah, the pixel, something like this. Yeah, the image representation in matrix. Matrix representation. Suppose that we have 3 by 3. So this one is matrix. Jadi ini adalah representasi dari sebuah citra, sebuah gambar, yaitu dengan sebagai sebuah matriks. Misalnya kita punya 4, 4, 5, 6, ya. And we have 7, and we have 5, and then we have 8, and 3, and 4, and this is will be 6. So this is the representation. The representation 5. So this one, we call this one as the pixel. Yeah. Pixel, sometimes this one is the picture element. Yeah, picture element, picture elements, pixel. And this is the intensity value. The intensity value. Jadi ini nilai intensitas. Sometimes we call this one also the brightness, the brightness value. But sometimes we have this is the number of light. So in physical world, jadi dalam ilmu fisika atau mungkin dalam dunia fisika, sebenarnya pixel is representing as the number of light. Jadi kalau misalnya kita punya objek, suppose that we have an object and this is our light sources. This is sun and this is our camera. This is our camera. And then if we have red, green, and blue. Suppose this is red and then reflected, and then green absorbed by the object, and then blue absorbed by the object. So only red reflected by the object, reflection. But for the green and blue, this color, this light is absorbed by the object. So okay, suppose that this one will be 80% reflection, 80%. This is 0% reflection. This one will be 0% reflection. So the reflection will be captured by the camera or maybe by our eyes. Yeah, this camera, this reflection will be stored as the intensity value. Jadi nilai reflection ini, ya, this reflection value will be assigned as the intensity value. The intensity value. But the problem is, problemnya itu adalah the light source the light value is continue value. Jadi nilainya continue. Nah, karena kan memang kan panjang gelombang cahaya, ya. Gelombang cahaya itu nilainya continue. Nah, if we want to store this kind of the data in the digital devices, we cannot store analog data. Analog or maybe continue. We cannot store. So if we want to store this data into digital devices like computer, PC, and so on, so we need to convert the intensity value from continuous value into discrete value. Jadi karena memang gelombang cahaya, ya teman-teman, gelombang cahaya itu nilainya itu continue. Sehingga ketika nanti akan di capture, ditangkap, disimpan dalam perangkat digital, itu nggak bisa gitu kalau kita menyimpannya dalam bentuk analog. So the conversion is necessary karena untuk saat ini kan sudah cukup banyak ya proses perangkat digital, sehingga kita mau tidak mau, suka tidak suka, proses yang namanya conversion from analog to digital value. Jadi nilai intensitas, sekali lagi, intensity value means the number of light that captured by the camera when this light is reflected by the object. Jadi objek itu memantulkan gelombang cahaya, ya, dipantulkan gelombang cahaya. Nah, hasil pantulannya ini kemudian ditangkap oleh kamera. Ya, the camera will capture the reflected of, the reflection of the light from the light wave. So sekali lagi ini nanti perlu melakukan proses yang namanya digitalization. We have the digitalization. The process to convert from analog signal to digital signal. So this one will be the digitalization. So in the image data, we will have two strategy in order to do the digitalization. The first one will be sampling, and then the second one will be quantization and sampling. Yeah, the sampling with the data audio, we will also have sampling. We also have quantization. The difference between sampling and the quantization is the domain of the digitalization. So in sampling, the digitalization will be based on the spatial information. But for the quantization, it will be based on the intensity information. For example, so in the sampling, it will be based on the spatial, and the quantization, it will be based on the intensity value. For example, if we have this kind of the image, this is the real world image. We can do sampling this image using 2x2 sampling, something like this. Suppose that this one will be divided 2x2, and 2x2. So suppose the background, it will be black, the foreground will be white. So we use, this is the background black, right? This is black, and then the foreground is white. So if you see here, for the first pixel, the dominant value will be black. It will be black. The second one, the dominant value will be white. And then the third one, the dominant value will be white. And then the last one, the dominant value will be black. So this is the representation if we do the sampling using 2x2. We don't know exactly what the object is. Kita nggak tahu benar-benar ini objek apa gitu, karena kita menggunakan sampling yang kecil. Karena secara spasial, we representing the object into 2x2. But if we use different, for example, if we use 4x4, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we divide again this one, 4x4. That's 4x4. Probably this one will be black, this one will be black, this one will be black, right? And this one will be black, and this one will be black. And this one will be black, and this one will be black. If we use 4x4 sampling. Another one is if we use more bigger sampling. If we use more bigger sampling, suppose that we use 8x8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we divide this one again, 2x2. And then descend the same thing. So we will have this one will be black. So it will be black, will be black, will be black, 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 black. Here the same thing. And this one will be the same thing. This one will be the same thing. We still this one. Now if we have more sampling, so we can see easily what object is. So and then we can increase more data. We can increase more sampling value. So in the sampling, this will be related to the resolution. If we have higher sampling value, kalau kita punya lebih banyak nilai sampling, the higher sampling value, So the data, the object information will be more detailed. Yeah. So the samplings mean we want to representing how many pixel in the object. If we use more pixel, the object, the representation, ya, will be more detailed. Kalau kita ingin melakukan sampling dengan jumlah yang lebih banyak, pixel yang digunakan untuk merepresentasikan objek, biasanya informasi detail dari objek itu akan jadi lebih banyak. So this is the first strategy in order to do the digitalization. We convert from the analog spatial into the discrete spatial. We decide how many pixel that can be used for representing an image. It can be 2 by 2, it can be 5 by 5, 2 by 2, and so on. So the common sampling, the common sampling in the image is we sometimes using QVGA. Sometimes we use the VGA resolution. Sometimes we use the HD, QHD. Yeah, we use the HD, full HD. Yeah, full HD. Sometimes we use the ultra HD. So this is depend. Yeah, VGA, VGA, QVGA, QHD, SD, full VSD, full HD, and also USD. Actually, this is the number of resolution. So for the QVGA, what is the resolution for the QVGA? Do you know what is the resolution for the QVGA?
Sir,
Kira-kira
I
teman-teman
believe
tahu
it's
nggak?
320 by 240, yeah.
Oh, 300 by
320 by 240 pixels.
okay. So it will be for the VGA. Jadi teman-teman kalau untuk VGA nilainya itu biasanya sekitar 320 kali 240 pixel. Kalau ini sekitar 640 kali 480 pixel. Ininya. Q itu maksudnya itu adalah seperempat, gitu. Seperempat. Ya, kemudian ada HD, ya, teman-teman HD, ya mungkin nanti bisa juga ada yang eh, eh, misalnya 2K resolution and so on gitu. Kalau SD itu apa? SD biasanya kita menggunakan 1200 gitu ya. 1280 kali 720. Ini SD. Karena oleh sebab itu kalau untuk QSD ya ini dibagi dua aja. Bagi dua aja berarti ini sekitar eh, 640 kali ini 400 berapa? 460 ya. Ya sebenarnya QSD itu ya mirip-mirip dengan VGA gitu. Tapi kita jarang menggunakan QHD gitu. Kita menggunakan yang SD saja. Nah, kalau yang Full HD, ada itu yang Full HD itu lebih tinggi dari apa namanya? Dia itu biasanya menggunakan 1920 gitu ya. 1920 kali dengan 1080. Ini untuk yang Full HD. Nah, kemudian kalau yang Ultra HD ya ini bisa gitu. Ultra HD resolution ini lebih banyak lagi ya. Itu bisa sampai 3840 gitu ya. 3840 dikali dengan 2160. Jadi semakin banyak jumlah pixel that can be used for representing an object against, so we will have more detailed information. Biasanya teman-teman kalau menggunakan resolusi gambar yang lebih banyak itu akan lebih tajam gitu ya. Lebih tajam ketika teman-teman melakukan zoom terhadap gambar itu. Ini ya, jadi ini adalah uh, metode yang pertama for doing the image digitalization. Ya, ini related with the image acquisition because gambarnya itu ya gambarnya kita gunakan ya itu biasanya bentuknya analog. The data that we have, the image actually coming from the light wave. Nah, jadi dari gelombang cahaya. The gelombang cahaya, the light wave, the form is in analog. So we need to convert them in the digital value. Oke, untuk yang sampling seperti ini. Nah, the next one is the quantization. Kalau sampling, it will be based on the spatial information, but for the quantization, it will be based on the intensity value. So, if you remember, panjang gelombang, ya, yang visible, yang merah itu kan sekitar panjang gelombang merah ya, itu sekitar 780 nanometer. Nah, okay, we will check. So here for the red one, they have the wavelength. The wavelength for the red one, it will be 780 nanometer. The value will be between 0 until 780. So if I ask you how many value between 0 until 780, kira-kira ada berapa nilai antara 0 sampai 780? You cannot say, oh, the value will be 700, 780. No, because the value between 0 until 780, it will be unlimited. Because it can be 0.1, it can be 0.01, it can be 0.2, 0.21, and so on. Because the value is continuous value. So because the value is continuous, so the digital device cannot store this kind of the data. So that's why we need to apply the quantization. Quantization means we try to convert the intensity value, intensity value 180 become only 255, 256 value. So we call this one is 256 levels. So if we have the data, this one from 100 until 780, so we will divide this one into several levels from 0 until 255. Why 256? Kenapa harus 256 gitu? Kenapa harus 256? Kenapa 780 yang tadinya nilai continuous should be converted into 256? Again, because this is the digital device, we representing using 8-bit representation. 8 bits means 1 byte. 1 byte. 1 byte means 2 power 8. 2 power 8, it will be 256. 256. Makanya karena kita memiliki itu ya, kita merepresentasikan dengan 8 bit, karena kemudian nilainya itu adalah 256. Jadi dari angka 780 yang nilainya 0 sampai 780, we convert it into 256 level. Jadi kita konversi ke dalam 256 level. Nah, bedanya kalau 256 ini sudah discrete. Jadi 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on until 256. We already have the discrete value when we try to digitalize. We try to digitalize the value of the waveform. Ya, saya kira kalau untuk melakukan quantization is not difficult. So for example, suppose that I have the value between 0 until 9. 0 until 9. One again, how many value between 0 until 9? Unlimited value. Unlimited value. Because we don't know exactly, we have a lot of value between 0 and 9. And then we convert, we do quantization. And then, for example, I have 5 levels. The first level, sorry, the 0 level, the 1 level, 2 level, 3 level, and 4 level. So the 0 level, so it will be between 0 until 1. It will be 0 until 1. And then, it can be bigger than or equal to, and then this one is the value. This one will be less than or equal to 1. Oh, sorry, this one it should be. And then the level two, it will be this is one, right? It will be 1 bigger than equal to, this is the value, this one is 2. And then this one will be between 2 and this then value 0 and 1. Oh, I think this one will be okay. This is for the example value, and this one will be 3. This is just for the example. And the next one we have 3 level. So this one it can be something like this value, and this one will be 5. And then the next one will be, suppose this is 5, and this one it will be 9. This is also the process of the quantization. But for this example, I give you the non-uniform quantization. Yeah, because the range between level it will be different. So for the level 0, the range is 0 and 1. But for the level 1, for the level 1, the level is 1. But for the level 3 and level 4, the level is 2 and 4. It will be different range. But we can change. For example, we use different one. Misalnya, we use different value. Oke, misalnya ini this is 2, this is 2, and this is 4. This is 4, and this is 6. This is 6, and this is 8. And this is 8, and this is 9. So this is another level. So this is possible for us. So this is the step how we did it. So now before we have 0 until 9, the continue value. So now we only have 0 until 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 5 levels. 5 levels of the quantization. So this is how we do the quantization. The quantization coming from this one. From 780, we convert into 256. So this is how we apply the digitalization in the sampling domain and also in the quantization domain. So, jadi teman-teman, sekali lagi, proses sampling itu adalah proses di mana kita mencoba untuk mengkonversi karena keterbatasan perangkat digital ya. Jadi perangkat digital kita terbatas sehingga harus disimpan dengan nilai discrete. Tapi kan kalau untuk data image, nilai discrete itu ada 2. Tuh. Yang pertama, kita bisa menggunakan gitu ya, menggunakan nilai discrete bagian dari spasial datanya. Yang kedua itu adalah kuantisasinya. Nah, zaman dulu mungkin ya, waktu saya masih kecil itu memungkinkan untuk bisa menggunakan kamera analog gitu ya, kamera analog. Makanya nyucinya itu pakai analog. Tapi kan sekarang sudah tidak ada lagi kamera analog, sudah hilang semuanya, itu perangkat digital. Sehingga mau tidak mau, memang proses digitalization itu harus dilakukan. Oke, jadi ini step yang pertama terkait dengan image acquisition. Jadi image acquisition itu dikaitkan dengan bagaimana kita mengkonversi, bagaimana kita bisa mendapatkan sebuah gambar. Jadi by definition, the image actually an array. An array that contain the intensity value with certain value of the pixel. So we have the pixel, we have the intensity, we have the collection of the pixel. Jadi kalau teman-teman memproses sebuah gambar, sebenarnya secara tidak langsung teman-teman memproses sebuah matriks 2 dimensi. Gitu. Oke. And is there any question for the first step? Ada pertanyaan, monggo. Silakan mungkin dari teman-teman yang magister, if you want to ask something about the image acquisition. Ini masih yang awal ya, Mas. Monggo, apakah kita lanjut?
So far, so good.
Oke, lanjut ya. We move. So the second one is image acquisition. The second is image enhancement. So before I talk to you that in enhancement, we try to enhance the quality of image. Yeah, we have problem in the image. It can be the quality problem. It can be in the quantity problems. Now my question is, pertanyaannya adalah, why we need to do image enhancement? Kenapa kita perlu melakukan image enhancement? Kenapa kita perlu meningkatkan kualitas citra? Why do we need to improve the quality of the image? Why don't just we directly use that image in order to analyze the image? Kira-kira kenapa kita nggak langsung saja gitu memproses image yang ada, kemudian kita uh, I will ask to Mbak Anastasia, what your opinion? Apa pendapatmu, Mbak? Hmm. Halo? Why do we need to do image enhancement? Suaranya kecil sekali, Mbak.
Apakah sudah lebih jelas?
Ya, oke. Agak lebih gedean lagi bisa nggak?
Image enhancement itu agar kualitas gambarnya lebih baik sehingga komputer bisa memprosesnya dengan lebih baik, Pak.
Oke, agar kualitasnya lebih baik sehingga komputer bisa memproses dengan lebih baik, gitu ya. Pokok intinya itu lebih baik gitu ya. Hmm, Oke, silakan. Coba I will ask to another. Thank you Mbak Anastasia. I will ask to uh, maybe Kifani. What do you think about this one? Why do we need to enhance the image?
I think it's to make certain features more visible, sir.
Okay, to make the certain picture more visible.
Yes.
Okay.
Like to bring out specific details like edges, textures, or colors for the analysis.
Okay, thank you Mbak Kifani. Okay, I will ask to another one, maybe Mbak Kurota, gimana? What do you think? Oke, agar informasi lebih banyak, dapat lebih banyak dan optimal. Oke, and the last one I will ask to Salwa. What do you think, Mbak Salwa?
So I think it's similar with the others. We will get the sharper image and then know the image details.
Oke, jadi itu ya. Jadi teman-teman tadi jawabannya oke semua gitu. Ya, memang image enhancement is applied in order to first, yeah, of course, we want to improving the quality. Kenapa nggak langsung? Ya, sebenarnya it is possible for us to directly process the image data without image enhancement, but the accuracy, the performance will be not really good. Jadi teman-teman bisa melakukan proses ekstraksi fitur gitu. Tetapi masalahnya adalah kita tidak akan optimal untuk bisa mendapatkan hasilnya. Tadi juga sudah disampaikan tadi salah satu mahasiswa bahwa image enhancement juga ingin meningkatkan visibilitas ya dari fitur yang akan kita gunakan. Jadi kalau kita misalnya ingin menangkap fitur edges, if you want to capture the edge feature in the image, sometimes if the image is too dark, it's quite difficult for us to expose the edges features. So that's why we do image enhancement in order to enhance the detail of the feature in the image. So if the detail of the feature in the image already enhanced, so it's easy for us to extract the feature, so the analysis will be better. Now the same thing in the image augmentation, we also try to improve the quantity, not only quality but quantity of the image. Yeah, because the quantity sometimes is quite important. So if we are taking the image using camera, sometimes the quality is not really good. So can you mention several problems that you always facing if we have the image. This is the image problem. We will try to the image quality problem. Quality problem that always we have. So what is the problem? Can you mention one by one? Maybe I will ask to Mbak Sarla. Can you mention one problem in the image quality?
Maybe when there's too much noise.
Noisy, yeah. Noisy image. Okay, thank you, Mbak Sarla. And then I will ask to Vincent. What do you think?
I think it's the different light. Maybe like it's captured between daylight and nighttime will be different.
So in one sentence, what is it? The lighting condition?
Occlusive.
Huh? The light condition or maybe the light distribution? Distribution, okay. I will just that one. Okay. How about you, Mas Lindra? What is the another image quality problem?
Maybe when the image is too dark,
Mm-hmm. Well,
and
the
then we
dark
can try
image,
to, yeah, maybe, or
dark
maybe it's
image.
too bright,
Yeah,
so we can
okay.
do like,
It also too bright, yeah. Too
yes.
dark and also too bright. Okay, and how about Satya? What do you think? Another problem?
Blur. Image-nya blur, Pak.
Hmm?
Image-nya ngeblur.
Blur.
Iya, blur.
Okay. Blurring, yeah, blur image. Okay. How about the 10K?
Like clear on like objects.
What is it?
Something like clear and super bright reflections on objects.
Reflection? What do you mean with reflection?
I mean like for example, like in images with like metallic images that are like very
Okay.
reflective and
Reflect,
yes, clear.
reflection of the image. Yeah, this is related to the lighting distribution. Yeah, it's okay, no problem. I will just. Okay, and how about with Rama? What do you think? Do you have another?
I
Can
think
you-
if the image is either low contrast or high contrast, sir.
Okay, low contrast. Okay. Why low contrast is problem?
I think because maybe because the details in dark or bright region is hard to distinguish.
Okay. Low contrast make the picture is difficult to distinguish between one object to another object, between object and the background. Okay. And then what else? We will ask to I will ask Akbar. Mas Akbar, what is another problem of the image quality?
Maybe bayangan mungkin Pak.
Hah?
Bayangan.
Bayangan.
Dark brightnya udah ada.
Bayangan. You mean shadow?
Yes.
Bayangan. Oke, jadi ini lebih ke pencahayaannya. Oke, jadi ini sebenarnya antara reflection and then the shadow and then the light distribution. This is related with the light distribution. Light distribution. Jadi mungkin saya kasih contoh ya. Jadi ini sebenarnya sudah oke ya. Teman-teman sudah menyebutkan satu persatu. Oke, kita lihat beberapa contoh gambar yang biasanya kita akan temui masalah-masalahnya itu apa saja. Nah, ini misalnya gambarnya too dark ya. Gambarnya terlalu apa namanya terlalu gelap, too dark. Nah ini kan if we see here, it's quite difficult for us to identify what kind of object inside of the image. This one the same thing. Can you recognize what image inside this one? I think it's difficult because the data, the image is too dark. This one also too dark image, and this one also too dark image. It's difficult for us to identify the object. This one is too dark image. The same thing is if we have too bright image. Right? If we have too bright image, this is also problem. Too bright, not this one. Too bright means something like this. Nah, not this one. No. Yeah, maybe this one, something like this, too bright image because the exposure is too yeah, without the image. Well, something like this. This is too bright. Yeah, this one also the same thing, too bright. And we also have the noisy image. Noisy image is something like this. This is noisy. So if we have the image too noisy, we will have difficulty to extract the features. The feature is important for us in order to recognize the pattern. So this one probably we cannot detect the feature if the data is too noisy. The same thing, the data is too noisy here. This one is too noisy, and another one is also this is too noisy. If we have too noisy data, it's difficult for us to extracting the feature, the detailed information. Another one is we have the problem in the low contrast. Low contrast image is something like this. And if you see, this is the contrast is too low. It is difficult for us to distinguish between object and the others. This is low contrast image, and this was another low contrast image. We have the dark low contrast. This one we don't know yet. We don't know exactly what this is. This is very, very low contrast because we don't know the information inside of the image because we cannot distinguish. Low contrast means the difference between the maximum and minimum value of the pixel. If the difference is too low, so we call this one is the low contrast. But if the difference between maximum value and minimum value is high, so we can just this is high contrast. But if the difference between the maximum value and the minimum value is maybe standard in original, so we call this one is the standard contrast. And this is also will be problem. Again, another one is the blurry image. This is the same problem. The image is too blurry. So if the image is too blurry, something like this, the process, the model is difficult to extract the feature. We don't know. We know that, oh, this is the person standing, 2%. But if I ask you how many person here, so probably we will just tell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6%. Actually, this is not 6. It will be more than 6 because the image is too blurry. Too blurry. So this will be also problem for the pattern recognition. So based on this example, another example is if the light, they say non-uniform, non-uniform light distribution method. So if we have, this is for the example, non-uniform. Sometimes this part is dark. Jadi ini dark, but gambar yang lain tuh bright gitu. Jadi ini kan non-uniform ya. Non-uniform illumination. This is the example. This part is bright, But this part is not bright. Jadi yang ini gelap, yang ini terang. Yang ini gelap, yang ini oke, yang ini oke gitu. Nah, ini juga salah satu permasalahan yang terkait dengan the lighting distribution. Nah, artinya banyak sekali problem yang mungkin kita hadapi terkait dengan kualitas pada sebuah gambar. Itu ya problemnya. Sehingga kita perlu memikirkan strateginya bagaimana we can improve the quality. We can improve the quality of the image. Karena if we have different problem, we will use different solution. Yeah, up to now, as I know, there is no general solution for the all problem. Jadi kalau teman-teman punya problem kualitas dari gambar itu nggak bisa diselesaikan dengan hanya satu solusi gitu. Biasanya masalah yang berbeda, solusinya akan berbeda. Nggak bisa dijadikan satu solusi gitu. Jadi untuk yang noisy image, and then the dark bright image, the blurring image, and the reflection, and so on, ini akan memiliki cara yang berbeda dalam menyelesaikannya. Okay, we will start one by one. For the noisy image, so the noisy image, the noisy image, we can use the filtering, spatial filtering, and then the lighting condition distribution, the reflection, and also ada bayangan gitu ya. Kita bisa yang nomor 2, 4, 2, 5, dan 7. We can use the histogram equalization. For the dark, bright image, we can use the contrast stretching. The blurring image, we can use the median spatial filtering. Low contrast, for the dark and black image, it should be histogram equalization, and then low contrast, we can use the contrast stretching. Jadi banyak metode, sebenarnya ada banyak ya, cukup banyak. Cuma we will just explain several strategies, several method in order to increase the quality of the image. So we will start from the spatial filtering. Kalau teman-teman sudah pernah mencoba ya nggak apa-apa ini asumsikan ini sebagai review ya. Okay, suppose that we have this kind of the image. Jadi kita punya image 4x4. We have the value is 6, 2, 1, 9, 1, 2, 3, 5, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 0, 1. And then the spatial filtering, we will utilize the kernel. Suppose the kernel is 3x3. The size of the kernel can be 3x3, can be 5x5, can be 7x7, and so on. Usually the size will be odd size. Artinya ukuran itu akan ganjil karena lebih memudahkan. Okay, so now after that, suppose this one is 1, 0, 1, and then 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. This is the kernel. And then we need to apply the convolution. So we call this one is the convolution problem. So because the input and the output will have the same size, and then we have 3x3 kernel, so we call this one as the kernel. Sometimes we call this kernel, sometimes we call this as filter. Jadi terkadang kita sebut sebagai kernel, terkadang kita sebut sebagai filter. Nah, because the kernel size is 3x3, and then we want to get the output with the same size with the input, so we need to put the padding. The padding will be this one. The padding size will be 1. This is, we have padding. And this one will be padding. So this one will be padding. If we have 5x5, the padding will be 2 times. So the size of the padding will be 2. Kalau kita punya 7x7, the padding will be 3. Kalau kita punya 9 kali 9, the padding will be 4. Kalau kita punya 11 kali 11, the padding will be 5. Yeah, because we want to get the output size is similar with the input size. So that's why we need to use the padding. So we start from the first value, we do convolution, something like this, and then we just do multiplication. 0 multiplied by 1, because you see here, the value is 1 and 2 and 1 and 0 and 1 and 0 and 1 and 0 and 1. So this one will be 0. So we start from 0 multiplied by 1 plus 0 multiplied by 0. Can you see my pointer?
No, sir.
This one, we have the small pointer. No? You cannot see my pointer? Mm, mm. Yeah, it should be dot, the red dot. No,
Is
you,
it
you
the
cannot
red
see?
dot in the
It's
five,
not moving.
Huh?
the red dot?
Red dot?
Is it moving though?
Yes, it is moving. The red dot. You you cannot see this one? Mm.
We see a red dot
Okay.
earlier, but it's not moving right now.
It's not moving. Okay, we
Yes.
start from 0. Yeah, we multiply by 0 to 1. And we multiply by 0 to 0. And we multiply by 0 to 1. And so on. And 0 multiplied by this one. And this one multiplied by this one. So we do multiplication. 0 multiplied by 1, 0 multiplied by 0, 0 multiplied by 1, 0 multiplied by 0, 6 multiplied by 0, 6 multiplied by 1, 2 multiplied by 0, and then 0 multiplied by 1, 1 multiplied by 0, and the last one, 2 multiplied by 1, 2 multiplied by 1. So the output will be 8. This is 8. The output will be 8. And then we move to the next one. So the output will be 6. We move to the next one, and then the output will be 8. And we move to the next one, the output will be 12, and so on. So this one will be the filtering. So based on this filtering, using this kind of the filtering, so we can select appropriate filter, appropriate kernel. Jadi kita pilih kernel yang cocok yang digunakan untuk menghilangkan noise. Ya, menghilangkan noise. Gitu ya, menghilangkan noise dengan kernel yang cocok. Ya, salah satu kernelnya apa gitu. Salah satu kernel yang bisa digunakan untuk menghilangkan noise, the kernel that can for the noise, we can apply using min filter. Ya, min filter. Min filter itu kernelnya itu adalah ini 111111111. Nah, ini ditambah dengan 1/9. Nah, this is the min filter. And then we also have the median filter. Ya, median filter. Ya, ini karena nggak ada kernelnya, median filter itu kita lakukan dengan menghitung median value. Misalnya gini, teman-teman kalau punya gambar 3x3 ya, ini kita contohkan dengan gambar yang lebih kecil. Suppose that the value is 2, 2, 3, 2, and 100, 3, 9, and 3, 4, 2, 2. Can you mention where is the noise here in the image? Yeah, 100 is the noise, right? This is noise. Why we call this one is noise? Kenapa kita sebut ini noise? Kira-kira kenapa, Mbak Andi? Why we call this 100 value is noise?
Because the differences between other bits are too high.
Yeah, too high. Yeah.
So that's why
Because
that's the noise.
the outlier, the value is too high. The value is too high. So because the value is too different, yeah, usually we don't say too high, but we say too different with the neighborhood, so it is the noise. So I already show you the noise. The value can be very high value because the white dot, it will be 256. So we have many white dot. So we need to remove this one. We need to remove the noise. So we can apply using median filter. Median filter, and then because we want to make the value is similar 0, we use this one. The padding, yeah, actually padding is just not, it will be not included in calculation. This is just to illustration. So we have this one, and then we compute the median value to 100. Be remember, in the median filter, the 0 value will not be included. Only 2 to 100. So the median value between 2 to 100, it will be 2. The median value, it will be 2, because this is the median value. And then we move here. The median value will be 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 100. The median value will be in the middle value, 2.5. 2.5, it will be rounding up, so it will become 3. And then we move to the next one. Yeah, so this one will become 3. Because 2, 3, 3, 100, the median value will be 3. And then we move the next one, we move to this one. We move to this one. The median value will be 2. And then we move to this one. The median value, it will be 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 100. The median value will be 2. And then we move again here, and the median value will be 3. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 100. The median value will be 3. And then we start again with this one. This one will be 2. We have this one. It will be 2, 2, 2. It will be 3. And then the last one, it will be 2, 3, 4, 100. It will be 4. So this is the result of the median filtering. So before we have 100 value. Before we have 100. Sebelumnya kita punya nilai 100. But after we apply median filter, 100 is already replaced with 2. So we already remove the noise. Jadi ini adalah cara kita remove noise. We can apply using spatial filtering. One of them is we can apply using median filter, or maybe we can apply using mean filter. So we can select one of them. But in most cases, the median filter is always better. The median filter is always better. Yeah, because in the term of the statistic, median filter is more robust than the mean filter. Okay, this one will be the solution for the first problem. And then the same thing with the blurring image. We can use the spatial filtering, but specific for the blurring image, we use this we use sharpening. Oops. Sharpening. Yeah, the spatial filtering, we use the sharpening filter. So the sharpening filter, because this is spatial filtering, so it will be the same with the before. We just use the convolution. Jadi kita hanya menggunakan konvolusi saja gitu ya, konvolusi saja. Tetapi filternya itu kita bisa menggunakan Laplacian filter. Ya, jadi sharpening can be applied using Laplacian filter. Laplacian filter. Jadi ini adalah untuk kasus yang blurring. Jadi teman-teman coba nanti cari the Laplacian filter, ya, cari Laplacian filter. Nah, kemudian filternya ini nanti digunakan konvolusi untuk menghilangkan blur dari sebuah gambar. Nah, ini untuk permasalahan yang blurry. Laplacian operator atau Laplacian filter gitu ya, itu biasanya salah satu yang bisa kita gunakan filternya itu adalah dengan menggunakan nilai ini ya. Jadi teman-teman bisa menggunakan filter. Tadi kan kalau ini kan average filter ya. Kalau Laplacian filter itu kita bisa menggunakan filter yang ini. We can use this kind of the filter 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 1 minus 4. So this one is something like sorry. It should be like Mexican hat. Jadi ini adalah filternya. Jadi ini sebenarnya seperti Mexican hat ya. Jadi ada. Nah ini ya. Jadi ini 0, 0, ini 1, 1, tiba-tiba ini min 4. Ini ya. Jadi ini adalah Laplacian filter. Jadi teman-teman, if you use this one, so actually this is the Laplacian filter. We apply using convolution. So when we apply using convolution, so we will improve the quality of the blurry image. So sharpening. Oh, ini, jadi mungkin saya akan contohkan misalnya contoh sharpening ya. Mungkin saya akan contohkan menunjukkan gambar ya, teman-teman. Jadi ini misalnya ya teman-teman Laplacian filter ya. Ini contoh yang blurry sama ini ya. Jadi kalau kita lihat teman-teman ini adalah originalnya. Agak sedikit blur ya, teman-teman ya. Agak sedikit blur. Artinya we cannot see the detail of the edges in the image. So after we apply this one, don't forget we do convolution. This one is the convolution. Jadi ini adalah hasil Laplaciannya. Hasil Laplaciannya dengan menggunakan convolution yang tadi. Nah baru kemudian hasil Laplaciannya itu ditambahkan ke original datanya. We use konstantasi. So sekali lagi, we apply Laplacian filter, and then we will get this one. After we get this one, and then we multiply by certain value of C, ya, jadi kita menggunakan C, kemudian ditambahkan ke data originalnya. Jadi Laplacian itu dia tujuannya itu adalah mendeteksi detail information. We want to detect the detail information in the image. And after we have the Laplacian filter, and then we multiply by certain value of C, and then we do additional to the original image. So this is the result of the sharpening value. So if you can see, in the left side image is more detailed than in the left side. In the left side is too blur, but in the right side is too detail. Yeah, we can get more detail about the edges. So this is the sharpening with Laplacian. Yeah, this is another example. Yeah, this one is blurry, and then this is the same thing. This is the example. So this is too blur, and then after Laplacian, so it is getting better. The same thing is Laplacian. Yeah. Better. And thing, yeah. We have many information, yeah. For get the detail information. And the same thing, yeah, I think this is the same. Okay, that one is the example of the Laplacian for improving the quality of the image in the term of the blurry image. Okay, so the next one is low contrast image. This one, number 6. Low contrast image. Wait a moment. I will go to toilet first. Oke, nanti kan di kelas yang S2 ini ada yang akan presentasi satu orang. Apakah dari S1 ada yang mau presentasi satu orang untuk individual presentation? Ada yang sudah mempersiapkan diri? Halo?
Excuse me, sir, but
Yes?
to clarify, for our presentations, if I recall, we've scheduled only up until the midterms.
Oh, until the midterm.
Yeah, so
Okay.
back then it was like we had 3 classes and 2 people were presented. You would have all 7 of us.
Okay. Okay, maybe for the IUP we will start the presentation next week. Okay, we will open the topic and then you choose the topic. Okay, so now we will move. We will continue to the topic. So the low contrast. So low contrast mean contrast. Contrast. What is the contrast? Contrast means the different. The contrast mean the difference between max value, mean value. Okay, suppose that we have this image 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 2, and this is 5. And then we have another image. Okay. We have another image. Suppose that this one is 2, 6, 7, 8, 16, 12, 20, 3, 0, 1, 9, 7, 2, 1, 8, 10, and this one is 15. So the low contrast means the difference between max and min. So for the first image, the contrast will be 6 because the maximum is 8, the minimum is 2. For the second image, the maximum is 20, the minimum is 0. So the contrast will be 20. So this one is low contrast. Why? Because the value, the difference between pixel is not too much. The value, the different value is 6. But for the next one, for the right one, it is not low contrast. Okay, so because of the image have low contrast, it's quite difficult for us to distinguish between the object. So for this one, we can apply using contrast stretching. Oops. This one using contrast stretching. Yeah, if we apply using contrast stretching, so for example, before the value is between 2, or maybe we can just call this one as 0, and this is 8. So the contrast will be 8. And then we want to extract this contrast between 0 until 50. So I want to extract this one between 0 until 50. Before, the value is between 0 until 8, but now we will convert between 0 until 50. Yeah, we stretching the contrast. We're stretching. So how we can do this one? So we call this is maximum is 8 and minimum is 0. So the value, I mean the equation P out is equal to P in, yeah. For the moment, I think I have problem with the Can you hear me? Halo?
Yes, we can, sir.
Oh, you
Okay.
can. Bisa ya?
Coba.
Ya dengan soalnya agak-agak ini ya. Nggak stabil internetnya nih. Oke, saya balikin lagi. Jadi saya matikan karena agak tidak stabil. Jadi ini kan selisihnya 0 sampai 50 sama 8 sampai ini. Berarti caranya itu adalah dengan cara kita menghitung 50 ya, 50 min 10 ya. Jadi 50 min 0, 50 minus 0 is 50 minus 0 is 50, and then this one will be 8 minus 0, it will be 8, and then multiple by P in, multiple by value. Jadi dikalikan dengan nilai awalnya gitu. Jadi sebenarnya 50 kali 50 bagi 8 itu setara dengan, entar saya hitung dulu ya, 6,25 ya. So actually this one is just 6.25 multiplied by P in. Multiplied by P in. So 0 multiplied by 6.25, it will be still 0. 2 multiplied by 6.25, it will be 12.5. Yeah, 12.5. Yeah, 12.5, so it will be 13 because we rounding up. We rounding up. And then 3, ya, 3 multiplied by 6.25. So it will be 25 because 6.25 multiplied by 3, it will be 24 multiplied by 75. So this one will be 25. And 4 multiplied by 625. Sorry, no, this one is not 25. Sorry, yeah. This one should be 19. Ya. Jadi 3 dikali 6,25 itu sekitar 18,75. Berarti 19 ya. So this one will be 25. Ya, 25. And this one will be 32. Ya. This one will be 32. And this one probably will be 38. Ya. And then the 8 will be 50. Ya. Sorry, yeah, 50. And 2, this is will be 13. And then 5 will be 32. So now the value now become between 0 until 50. We stress the contrast. Jadi kita sudah men-set the contrast sehingga nilainya itu sekarang menjadi lebih banyak, lebih kentangnya jadi lebih besar gitu ya. Nah, ini adalah proses yang kita gunakan untuk mengatasi permasalahan to solve the problem of the low contrast problem. Okay, and this one is about the low contrast, and the next one, so the next one, low contrast, the next one is if the data is too dark or maybe too but this is not low contrast, or maybe the lighting condition is not really good, so we can use the histogram equalization. Jadi mungkin teman-teman nanti bisa mencari informasi tentang histogram equalization. Jadi seperti apa nanti prosesnya itu yang nanti kita akan coba lakukan. Seperti itu ya. Jadi teman-teman, if you have a certain problem in the image quality, you need to use the certain solution. So one solution cannot be used for all general problem because the solution it will be specific to the problem. Jadi ini ya, jadi teman-teman mohon ketika nanti mendapatkan permasalahan di dalam data image, perlu lihat dulu apa yang mungkin muncul, baru ini yang nanti solusi yang cocok itu apa gitu. Okay, is there any question for the image enhancement before we move to the image augmentation? Ada
Sorry, sir. I just want to ask regarding noise.
hmm?
How do you differentiate between noise and grain?
Noise and
Grain.
grade? What do you mean? Grain?
Grain. GRAIN. Like the one that
Grade.
comes from.
Oh, okay. Yeah, usually the noise is repeated pattern. Yeah, I mentioned something like this. Yeah. Something like this. This is the noise because the value is repeated. I mean, in the all image. So this is the noise. So in order to detecting the noise, usually we use the PSNR. Yeah, and this one. So we can calculate. We can calculate whether our contain a lot of noise or not. Noise is the repeated pattern, something like this. So we can use the BSNR is the this is the ratio of the noise, right? The ratio of the noise. So if the image has a lot of noise, yeah, usually the value of the PSNR will be very, very small. But if the noise, we don't have noise, the PSNR, it will be higher. So if we check the image has very low PSNR value, yeah, something like this. So we can assume that, oh, this image is noisy. Now this is the noisy, so we can apply the method for the noisy image. So this is the noise. But for the grain, I think this is not the value for the PSNR because the grain usually not always in the all allocation, not repeated pattern. So the value of PSNR will be not small. So this is how we distinguish whether our image contain a lot of noise or not. We can use the PSNR, a peak signal to noise ratio. Oke, gitu ya Mas ya. Oke, kita punya waktu 10 menit ya. Nanti setelah itu kita lanjutkan dengan presentasi dan baru setelah itu kita tutup. Oke, so the last one the last one is the image augmentation. Yeah, the image augmentation actually it will be used in improving the quantity. Right? This one is the quantity of the image. Image enhancement is for quality, but image augmentation is for quantity. But actually, this is not always improving the quantity, but the image augmentation can be to balancing the data. Balancing. Yeah, sometimes we have a lot of data. We have a lot of data, but the data is not balanced. Yeah. Have negative and positive. The negative we have 1,000 data, 10,000 data, but for the positive we only have 100. In the term of quantity, this is enough because we have more than 10,000 data. But in the term of balancing, this is not balanced. Balance itu data augmentation. So augmentation means we improve the quantity, we add additional data. we add additional data based on the current data. We add additional. Okay, something like this. Suppose that we have misalnya kita punya ini ya, punya data misalnya 4 kali 4. Okay, this is only one data. So we can do augmented. Suppose that we do in new data, new additional data. And add 7, 5, 4, and this one will be 3, 4, 9, 8, and this one will be 10, and this is 5, and 4, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 10. So this one will be new different data. Yeah. By the value, when we see the metric, it will be different. But actually, visually, they are the same. But we can assign this one as the new data. Another one is maybe we can just maybe crop this part. We crop this part. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one 5, 2, 3, 2, 3, 7, 2, 1, 2, 6, 4, and 8. This one 0, 0, 0. So this one is the new data. And so on. So actually we make something like this for it. It can be cropping, it can be adding intensity, it can be removing the intensity, it can be rotating. Yeah, if we use this one, we can rotate the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it can be 3, 8, 1, 6, 2, 3, 2, 5, 1, 2, 7, 3, and 8, 4, 6, 2. So this one and this one are the same, but they're just rotating and so on. So before augmentation, now we have 4 data. We increase from 1 data to 4 data. This is the example of the augmentation. we can do anything that we can have. Yeah, you just adding the intensity, cropping, or maybe you just flipping, or maybe you can just rotating, or maybe combination of them. So we already increase, but be careful when we want to increase the number of quantity. Please don't too much to increase the image. For example, the original image we have 110. Suppose that we only have 10 data, and then we improve become 1000. I think this is not really good, because from 10 become 1000, this is too much not original data. So maybe from 10 to 50 is no problem, 10 to 50 is okay, but from 10 to 1000, this is too much if we want to augment the data. Okay, so more detail I think you can find in the internet about the data augmentation. Okay, this is 3 steps in the pre-processing. We starting from the image acquisition, image enhancement, and also image augmentation. So now it's time for us to listen the presentation from the student. I will give Mas Rido to start the presentation, and after the presentation we can dismiss the class.